Hi YouTube, Coinpicker here. Here are my thrift store finds for the past week. Alright, I have to forewarn you, it's mainly jewelry this time. Anyways, the first thing, it's behind the label. So obviously it was only 99 cents. And it is a gold charm, a tiny, tiny gold charm. They knew it was gold because it was in the display case with the other jewelry. It was at the Salvation Army thrift store that I got this in Vancouver. And it's only 14 karat, very tiny. But if I can get gold for under $1, I will do so and add it to my stack. All right, and have a look at the back. It is marked 14K. It's just really hard to see. Let me focus on. It's right under the hole. It says 14K. It's not really clear, but it is there. And next of all, I went to another Salvation Army thrift store and went through their junk jewelry baskets. And this is a store that usually doesn't produce much, but every once in a while it does produce. So it was in the rich part of town. Usually, people go through that store like crazy. So even if there is good stuff, it's snapped up quite fast. But I found these two bracelets. This is a silver bracelet for $2.99. It's hollow, but it does have Murano art glass beads at the ends. Pretty nice. And it is marked. I don't know how they missed the mark. Literally missed the mark, pun intended. But have a look at this. There's an Italian silver tag, and it says 925, and also some I guess official hallmarks, like assay marks. But yeah, for $2.99, and this is probably worth I'd say 10-15 bucks, maybe up to 20 Canadian. And at the same time I found this bracelet. So it was a double whammy, and this one's pretty cheap too, $3.99. And this one, I did not see a mark. I went, at the time I looked all over, I couldn't see it, but just the toning of it looked like silver. And, look at the quality. It really looks like a designer piece. And the way they melted the ends, see that? It just cries out silver. I mean, if it was any other alloy or whatnot, you might see like bronzy color at the ends, but nope, it's all white. But the funny thing is, after I left the store and I brought this back to my car, I put it in the drink holder, and right at that moment, I spied the mark. It was like close to this tag. Let's see if I can find it for you guys. All right. All right, let me know if you guys see it. Actually, I'm gonna have a better close up look. Save you guys some time here. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you look, oh, it is actually on the inside. Sometimes these marks are very tricky. You see right there, right to the left of the blue tag, at the top wire, it says 925. See if I could blow that up better. Right there. Pretty cool, huh? And actually, the other bracelet, it's not 925, but it is 800 silver. So that's the, you know, I guess the continental or European standard back in the day. These days it's 925, but I think this one was probably made, my guess is like during the 90s, or maybe even slightly earlier. Because I did see online something similar, but probably newer, and it did say 925. So this one, I'm speculating that it's from Mexico. It just has that appearance and that kind of mark, you know, very simple mark. I'd say designer piece like this. Actually, this was quite heavy. This was about 43 grams of sterling. That, I believe it's, I think it was about like 10 grams, something like that. It's hollow. But yeah, I mean, over an ounce of silver. So silver alone is worth about $20. I think maybe like 23 or $24 Canadian. But as a designer piece in some ritzy West Side store, I could see this going for maybe like maybe $150. So that was pretty good for $4. Well, $3.99. So that was a good score. And just the other day, went to another Salvation Army thrift store. It was actually the same one I got this charm from in Vancouver. And I mean, these weren't a great deal. They're sterling charms for a charm bracelet, but they had like a big sale. So I was able to use a coupon, and basically I had to spend $25 in order to get $10 off. So they were asking like $2.99 for these charms. So I pretty much picked out all the charms, and it was just enough to use my coupon. So I pretty much paid on average about $2 Canadian after taxes for each one of these 9 charms. So I pretty much paid the silver spot value. But I think there is more money to be made, or the value, because some of these are pretty cute. Like this one is like, I think it's a tractor. Oh, not a tractor. It's a horse and cart. And I think resales, a charm like this would probably be like, I don't know, $5 to $8 Canadian. I guess if I put on YouTube, or not YouTube, but what am I saying? eBay. And it is marked sterling. Right there. And the next charm is a little choo-choo train. Pretty fun. This one I couldn't find the mark, but it looks like a silver charm. It was not magnetic or anything. Next there is, this is very interesting. It says the Mormon Church. Looks like a cathedral almost. Or sorry, Mormon Temple, sterling. That was pretty neat. And this is one of my favorites. It's a cannon, and it does swivel like that. Pretty cool. Fort Niagara. Sterling. It says by, I can't read the company, I think it's like BFF or something. That's real cool. And moving on. This one's a bit hefty. It says Old Faithful, like a big geyser, like in Yellowstone. I think it's Yellowstone National Park. Oop, that definitely sounds like silver. And it says sterling right at the top, near the loop. And these charms, I think they weigh roughly about like 2 to 3, maybe 4 grams. Like that big one definitely is the bit on the heavier side. And then we have this little squirrel. The marking is on the bottom. Sterling. And here's Smokey the Bear. Always had, in the States, they had him, this character do like service announcements about like, you know, make sure you're safe with your bonfires at the national parks. I'm not sure if they still have those commercials in the States or those service announcements, but we used to get those up in Canada when I was growing up, you know, just because, you know, we're so close to the States. So we always get their commercials. And Sterling said it's right on his behind. You can see that right at the pants. And next we have this little imp. Pretty cool. And then we have this ferry, our local BC ferry, British Columbia ferry. Well, actually we have a number of ferries, but that's the name of the company. Well, it's a crown corporation, you know, part of the government. Because we have ferries going from the mainland to the islands close by, connects the communities. So just I think it was like during spring break, we went on a short vacation to Vancouver Island, the city of Victoria, which is our provincial capital, where the provincial government is, the legislature. And, you know, we don't go that often. I mean, a ferry ride there, it's like an hour and a half or so. And it's not cheap, but, you know, it's like a nice little staycation. But what we usually do is, you know, we park our car inside and then we, I guess, hang out at the buffet. Slow, you know, sort of grazing until it's time to get off. So it helps pass the time away. And that is all the charms. So yeah, I thought it was pretty, you know, decent deal, $2 each. And then at the Salvation Army thrift store, obviously it's, you know, that it's one of my favorite stores. The one near my house, they just got some new jewelry, like fresh jewelry that the manager was pricing. And the manager brought it to the near the cashier's till to put in the glass case. So I had a look at the rings and I saw this one. I thought, looks pretty good. And then it had a similar one, but it had no price. So I looked at this and I looked all over inside, as well as this one, and I could not see any markings. But you know, with these vintage rings, sometimes even if it's gold, the mark, you know, could have been rubbed off over time. So the lady went to the back, asked the manager if, well, basically for a price on this one. And something like, because there's no price tag, she was just curious, or wasn't sure if maybe the manager set it aside in order to check it, or, make sure it's not real jewelry. This one looks very yellow. This one looks more of a pale greenish yellow, but it looks like they do have stones in it. See this little stone here, and this tiny little stone here. So basically, before she went to the back, the sales lady looked on the inside of both rings, like totally looking for a mark. Because I think if she found a mark, she would not sell it to me for that price. So she comes back. All right, mind you, this first ring is $7.99. So it's $7.99 or $7.49? $7.99. She comes back and she says, "Oh, manager says $6.99 for this one." I thought, oh, even better. So at the moment, I didn't have my hopes up. I mean, she might come back and say, "Oh, this is not for sale," or "This is $20 or $30." But this was actually ended up being $1 cheaper than the first ring, which was fine with me. So I paid, brought it home. I still have to get a gold test kit. I really want to check, but it just has that sound. And I'll show you something else as well. But let's have a close-up look of this. So it appears to be a diamond ring, and even the mount for the diamond looks like real jewelry, like a real mount. Right? Nothing on the inside, but look at the workmanship. Like, by all accounts, this looks like a gold ring. All right, and then have a look at the other one. I like the other one a little bit better. It's like, this one's very crude. This one's more refined. So I'm figuring if there was ever a mark, that it was just, worn off over the years. And, all right. And I bought this diamond tester, like, I think it was a good year or two ago from eBay. And I'll show you. Ever since I bought it, this darn thing never has gone off. Basically, everything I tested was basically cubic zirconia. So it doesn't, the alarms do not ring when you use it on that. And it distinguished between diamond versus cubic zirconia. However, it doesn't distinguish between diamond and moissanite. Moissanite being like a man-made diamond. Supposed to set at 6, I believe. All right, so I'll just show you guys. So, appears to be ready. Right, I'm not sure if I could do this one-handed, but we'll give it a try. Oops. If it beeps, it is possibly diamond. Right. I did this earlier. All right, that is a good sign. So it doesn't guarantee it to be diamond for sure, but there's a high chance, because I don't know. I mean, moissanite is not a very common material, and especially with this vintage stuff. Like, so this one is a tiny, tiny little stone. All right. So that is a good sign. Next, I either have to get a gold testing kit because I'm figuring it must be 10 or 14 karat gold, most likely. I mean, I could be off. It could be 18 karat, by all, you know, who knows, right? But I should bring it to a jeweler in the meantime, since I don't have the testing kit for the gold. But it just looks like pretty decent quality jewelry. I actually looked on eBay and they had a very similar looking design without the diamond. Look at that. And I don't see any other colors coming through, like, you know, like a plated ring. And it's not magnetic. And I believe these two rings combined weighed about 10 grams. So even at, I don't know, 10 to 14 karat gold combined, I think the gold would be worth like $250 Canadian. The diamonds, I mean, this is like a 10 pointer. This one is probably half a carat, maybe not that much. A third of a carat. But I think the diamonds would add at least $100 to the value. So for what I pay, I think I paid like with tax, probably like 15, 16 bucks for these two rings. And, you know, it's a little bit of gamble. I mean, you know, if it pays off, it's worth like, you know, maybe 300, 350 for both of them. If not, you know, no big loss. But I will give you guys an update on that after I check it with a jeweler. But I did go to my local flea market today. I haven't been there in ages, and today is Sunday. So the thrift stores were closed, except, you know, I'm in Value Village, which is like Savers. But I never find anything good there, very rarely. Obviously, I love Salvation Army thrift stores. You know. So I didn't bother going those ones. So I decided, okay, I'm going to spend, you know, a couple hours at the flea market. So our flea market is pretty big in Vancouver, and came there, you know, I went there a little on the late side of the day. You know, it's like probably around 2 o'clock, and they close around 4. So I had less than 2 hours to go through, like, I don't know, it was like 300 tables. Like, it's a big place, and it's been around decades. So it's always fun. Paid $1.50 to go in. I think I paid like another $2 street parking. But it was worth it. You know, it was fun. Got to talk to old friends. You know, old friends that are vendors. Got to hear a few stories. You know, stuff like that. Always love the stories. But end up buying these. So on my last video, I did buy a collection with these, but in much better condition. But really, I couldn't find anything. So right before I was about to leave, I went into one of the stalls that sells stamps, coins, and banknotes. And the guy, you know, that runs it, he gave me a deal I couldn't, you know, resist. So he told me up front, you know, these are damaged, but, you know, if I liked them, he'd give me a good price. So these are shin plaster notes, just like what I told you last time. And they were basically temporary measures for Canada to issue 25-cent banknotes. So it's like fractional currency, because I guess at the time they didn't have enough quarters, not enough silver to circulate. So first of all, we have this one that says Dominion of Canada, 25 cents. And you notice there is a chunk missing out, a sliver missing out from this side. And I don't know, someone tried to use like cardboard, thin cardboard, and some tape a long time ago to mend them. So most likely what I will do is probably soak it just like a stamp to remove the tape and remove the paper. I guess for any breaks, just like how they use tape, I have to pick up, well, this is what I plan. I want to, like stamp collectors, they have those old school sort of glassine hinges that they use to put their stamps, mount their stamps into their old-fashioned, albums. I'm going to see if I could pick some up, wet them, and basically use it to hold together the tears. Because those ones, they don't really, generally they don't cause damage. They could be soaked off again, or after a time, the gum gets very weak, and you could just peel it off. So I was planning to use those to mend these, and get rid of all these old, fixes. And the next one, let me see. Next one is actually not bad. 1923. A little bit of loss right on the bottom, but the only thing is that surface is missing, and that is sort of, I think they were stuck on a board or a scrapbook, like glued in, and then someone just tried to take it off. So there's that little bit of break coming through. So again, this part, I think this is extra paper from their scrapbook. So I'll see if I could soak that off and at least improve on this, or at least stabilize the condition of it. All right. And then we have this one, which actually it's probably the best condition out of the bunch. It has been folded up, but it's still in one piece. All right. Last one is a different issue. This one is from 1900. This one is actually broken in half, or torn in half, and the corners being taped down. So I want to soak those off, straighten out these corners. I don't know why I guess it was taped onto something, and then when they took it off, they just folded the tape in on itself. But I want to use those like stamp hinges and just maybe make a thin, I guess like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 of them, just to hold this in place. But yeah, that's my plan. Maybe I will show you in another video after I repair these. But I thought might as well pick up something. There's really nothing to buy at the flea market. Well, within in a reasonable price, right? So I think originally he was asking like $5 or $4 or $5 each, and later he said, "Hey, how about $15 for the whole lot?" And at that moment, I wasn't even interested, because I already had a collection from last time that I bought that were only $3 each, and they were in very good condition and not even broken, right? Not damaged. So, not half serious, I said, how about, I don't know, $10 for the lot. And he said, done. I go, oh, okay. So $2.50 each. I mean, after I stabilize them, these ones I could probably sell to someone for $4, maybe $5. I don't know. This one, which is not broken at all, I don't know, I'd say $7, $7, $8. These two also like $4 or $5. So yeah, it was a good deal, you know, but usually I do not like to buy damaged stuff, like when it comes to stamps, coins, or banknotes. But, you know, if it's cheap enough, you know, it's really hard to say no. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, we really enjoy receiving mail. So if you guys have any letters, donations, objects, gifts, whatever you want to send it to our P.O. box down below to the Coinpicker channel, and we will make a video or basically show whatever you send us and talk about it and give you a shout out at the next video. Well, anyways, and by the way, if you guys have any questions, you could also email me below at coinpicker@hotmail.com, and I will try to get to your emails in a timely manner. Other than that, you could feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. So I will see you guys in my next video, and have an awesome day, and I will talk to you soon. Coinpicker out.